Pitt Stop Podcast. I'm your host, E, aka our money bags, and we got the Pitt crew with us today. Shout out to my man K Ego. What's up, bro?
Hey man, what it do? What it do?
And
Episode
we
74. What's up?
yes, sir. We got my man Jay every day. Jay, tell him what we do in the pod, man.
Hey man, this is where we shoot the shit, talk about everything except politics.
For
Bang,
sure, for
bang.
sure. And we got a very special guest today, man. This guy is a New York Times bestselling author. He's written books, Showtime, The Boys Will Be Boys, The Gunslinger, and his new book, Only God Can Judge Me, a bio story about our favorite rapper, Tupac Shakur. Mr. Jeff Pearlman, man. Welcome to the show, brother.
Welcome to the
I have a
show.
question, being serious. I have a sincere question.
Hmm?
All you guys have like cool nicknames, whatever, and I just says Jeff Pearlman. And in my house, my son and I used to have an imaginary hip hop group, and it was Big Jew and Little Guy, and I was Big Jew.
Okay.
So it's okay. So can I be identified from here on out as Big Jew? Is that cool?
Of
Hey, that's
course.
cool.
Big Jew it
That's
is,
cool.
baby.
That's cool,
Big
man.
Jew it is.
Cool, man.
Big Jew it is.
You may
Hey,
have heard
so-
you may have heard our first hit, Bar Mitzvah. It's a pretty big. Back in 2006, it was big. You know?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hey, Jeff, man, you wrote about my favorite franchise, man, the Lakers, man, Showtime. And actually, your book was based off the HBO show Winning Time.
Well, my book became the HBO show Winning Time.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Oh wow.
Correct.
Right.
That is true,
Wow.
which is great. It's great
Dude.
to put my kids through college. For real.
Dude, first of all, how was it doing your research for Showtime, man?
It was great. The funny thing is, because of that book, we moved to California. I'm from New York, and I was working on it, and I love coming out here. Just the weather, the beaches, the just lifestyle, kind of laid back, flip flops all year. And I convinced my wife to move out to California. But you know, I really like the Lakers organization. Like we were just talking before we started recording about the Jets, who have Woody Johnson as owner, the Cowboys who have Jerry Jones, and the Raiders who have the Davis family. And I know the Buss family just sold the Lakers or in the process, but Jeannie Buss is the best. She's just
Wow.
easy. I'm not saying I understand people are like, oh, this trade, that trade, not great, too much LeBron power, whatever. She's very, very easy to work with, very easy to deal with, very approachable, very fan focused. I don't think she has the ego of a Jerry Jones. You know, Jerry Jones always has to be on the camera. I don't think she's
Yeah.
that way. And it was fun, man. I love that era. I love the Magic, Kareem, Worthy, Rambis, Byron Scott, Michael Cooper. It's just a fun era of basketball. The hatred for the Celtics, the rivalry with Dr. J in Philly, just everything about it. It was really cool. It was great. It was
Dude,
fun.
that saved basketball, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't think people understand like that era NBA saved the NBA, man.
I think if you want to look back and if you pick the date specifically when the NBA was saved, because if you look back at the NBA struggled for a long time. And the number one
Yep.
reason it struggled, and this is grotesque, but it's true, was fans in America were like, oh, that's the quote black league. That's the black league. It's too black. It's just too black. And you would notice teams back then would always put a white stiff or two on the end of every bench. It was almost, I think the Knicks were the first team to have an all black roster. Otherwise, they would always have like a white guy. So it's so gross. So the fans could root for the white guy, literally. And then what happens is 1979, you have Magic and Bird drafted, right? In the same
Right.
draft. They just
Yep.
played in the championship game, Indiana State, Michigan State,
Yeah.
79.
Mhm,
It was a huge
mhm.
basketball game up to that point. And the thing about Magic Bird is they were rivals from the beginning. They were both insanely good basketball players. It wasn't just a white guy being put on the end of the bench. It was a white guy who flat out could play and was great. And like he was perfect for Boston. Magic was perfect for LA. They hated each other as rivals. And I think the league took off. And then a few years later, you have Jordan coming, and then you start adding the Ewings, the Olajuwons, all these guys. And all of a sudden you're filling out, and this league is fantastic. But at that point, NBA was cold product. It really was.
It was on their way out.
Yeah, now hey look, we're back to the NBA. I think the NBA is getting better again, to be honest, man.
Yeah, I do
Like
too.
I'm excited for this upcoming this season, man. We started out with a bang. We got a scandal already, baby.
Yeah, we got a scandal. We got double overtimes, career highs. It's
Right.
amazing. But I want to
Yeah.
ask you this while we were talking about the Lakers. I did see something that you wrote about. I want to talk about it real quick.
Okay.
Kobe to the Nets.
Oh, yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, 96. Because I wrote another book called Three Ring Circus about the Shaq Kobe Lakers. So I've done 2 Laker books. 96 NBA draft. So John Calipari is in his first year as a coach of the New Jersey Nets. and he has final personnel say, even though I have a general manager, like they have a veteran general manager, John Nash, but Cal, when he was hired, gets final personnel say. It's his first draft. And the Nets are garbage, the team is garbage, the roster sucks. But he's a little nervous, and his scouts are saying we should take this high school kid. He's right down the street. And in fact, I think a day or 2 days before the draft, Calipari had lunch with Joe and Vanessa Bryant, his parents. Not Vanessa, Joe and I forgot his wife's name. Anyway, his parents.
Pam, was it Pam? Pam? Was her name Pam?
Thank you. Good call. Nice job. Pam. And basically was like, if he's there, we're going to take him. And at the time, Kerry Kittles was playing at Villanova. And Kerry Kittles was a really good NBA college player.
Kerry was nice.
Yeah.
Very good. All-American, all that stuff. And Cal starts getting very cold feet about taking a high school kid in his first draft with the Nets. Meanwhile, Kerry Kittles, I think, was represented by David Falk. And David Falk said, if you guys don't take Kerry, if he's there at 8, I'm never going to negotiate with you guys again.
Wow.
And that doesn't work with any kind of veteran coach. Any veteran coach, like if he said that now to like Steve Kerr or even like Mike Brown, they'd be like, okay, you're never going to negotiate with us again. Okay, whatever. But Calipari got very nervous. So it's coming down. And he basically says in the draft room, he calls everyone together and everyone thinks they're going to take Kobe if he's there. And he said, all right, guys, here's the final plan. If Kerry Kittles is there at 8, we're taking Kittles. If he's not there, we're taking Kobe. So at 8, they take Kerry Kittles. Jerry West already has a deal arranged with the Hornets. If Kobe reaches there, where they'll send Vlade Divac to the Hornets for the right, and the Hornets will take Kobe. So as soon as the Nets, everyone knew the Nets were the most likely team to take Kobe. As soon as they passed, everyone in LA, everyone in Charlotte, psyched, and all these net officials besides Calipari are devastated. And Kittles had a good career. Like he was a very good,
He was good.
You could win with Kerry Kittles, but he certainly wasn't Kobe Bryant.
No, it wasn't
Right.
Kobe. Yeah.
All because you got cold feet, all because you got scared that somebody pressured you.
Which I don't understand. I mean, I understand. Like, you gonna put all your marbles in a high school basketball player over the All-American Kerry Kittles? Like,
but you
put yourself in that lens.
Yeah, but you got to see it from this lens too. Like, if it's Kobe, right? So Kobe to be even considered to be coming out of high school, the top 10, top 12 pick, whatever have you, he had to go and work out for these teams. So
wait, I'll tell you something. He worked out twice for the Lakers, and the first time he worked out with Dante Jones, who was a Ole Miss player, Mississippi State player, and they worked out together. Sometimes you bring in 2 players at the same time, and Kobe just lit him up. And Dante Jones was a legit star.
He was solid. Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, very good. Drafted by the Knicks later, kind of flamed out. Second time they bring him in, they have him work out with Michael Cooper. Now, Cooper at the time was 40, but he still was a former NBA player in good shape. And Kobe just lit him up too. And West was just blown away by a young Kobe Bryant. But I do understand it was still the dark ages. So Garnett had been drafted the year before by Minnesota, but it had been, besides that, a long gap between drafting college, high school players out. I understand the nervousness about it, but it was, the thing I always wonder, here's a question I always think about. Let's say Kobe was drafted by the Nets, and instead of being with Shaq and Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel, he's on this crappy roster with this bad coach with Jason Williams and like Yinka Dare, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Maybe he just winds
up. I forgot about that name.
I love Yinka Dare. Maybe this is a great name. Maybe Kobe Bryant just winds up being like
Tracy McGrady.
AI?
Yeah, like no, not AI. I think more like McGrady, where it's like,
okay,
he's a great player. He puts up a lot of numbers. He has a great career. But at the end of the day, or like Carmelo, maybe he winds up Carmelo. Yeah, I think that's what he winds up. I think Kobe might. I don't think Kobe singularly could lift the crappy New Jersey Nets by him. This was before Van Horn, before Kenyon Martin, before they got.
And they still had Sean. They had Sean Bradley too at the time, I believe.
Yeah. But that's the funny thing about like some of these people understand, man. Drafting the right person, being in the right situation is everything, though.
It's everything too. Yeah.
Yeah, like I I think Wemby went to the right situation.
Right.
100%. There are guys who just wind up. I think there are guys who wind up career journeymen, like Vince Carter in a way. Like Vince Carter was drafted by the Lakers that year. I know he wasn't in that draft, but if he winds up with the Lakers that year and he's beside Shaq and Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones and Alvin Campbell and those guys, Vlade's still around. Maybe we're talking about Vince Carter as like this all-time. He's in the conversation for top 5.
Yeah.
Situation,
Yeah, nah, for sure.
Yeah, man.
And that's crazy. Vince Carter is actually a journeyman. If you really think about it,
crazy.
Probably one of the greatest journeymen to ever play basketball. But he has
journeyman.
been to a lot of teams. So
Yeah.
would you consider Chris Paul a journeyman?
Oh, of course. He is a
Yeah.
journeyman. He's a great journeyman.
Yeah.
You can be great. You know, it's also different times now. Like back in the day,
You stay with
you
one
were
team.
like think back to like Ewing, always in it. Well, he played at the end, but like Ewing,
Yeah.
Olajuwon, David Robinson, those are one team guys. Even if they bounce around a little, they were young. Ginobili, Tony Parker, just as an example.
Right.
Nowadays, it's much more common to bounce around, not considered a mark against you in any of the sports. So, like,
I mean, look at Westbrook and Harden.
KD.
Exactly.
Yeah.
KD.
KD,
Best
yeah.
example.
Yep.
I would have been a lot
LeBron.
more situation. Yeah, LeBron. All these guys.
Oh, yep.
Well, you know what, Jeff? Now I think about it, might have started with LeBron when he left Cleveland.
Right?
Yeah.
I would say he definitely made it acceptable, even though the whole announcement thing, the decision thing was not very good. He made it okay to bounce around. And then Chris Bosh does it with him. So you have two stars doing it at the same time. And then all of a sudden it kind of becomes a thing, you know. In the old days, like, it's weird. I know he started with the Nets, but in the old days, it would be important for the Knicks for Carmelo Anthony to end his career, Nick. Like, it would be important. You know, you'd be like, we're going to sign him to X contract. We want him to retire as a Knick. I don't think that matters at all anymore. I don't think Kareem retired as a Laker is really important. Even though he's past his prime, he retires as a Laker. Right. That does not exist anymore. Now Larry Bird would be wearing like an Orlando Magic jersey at age 35, and it'd be really strange.
Yeah,
Weird.
Yeah.
It was like seeing Patrick Ewing with Orlando Magic jersey.
Or Seattle.
Seattle.
Super weird.
Yeah.
I mean, who was that did it? Like, who? Like, was it? Yeah, Pat. Didn't Pat go to like somebody went to like Toronto? One of them said
that was a King Olajuwon.
Olajuwon went to Toronto. Like that. It's weird to see Olajuwon in a Toronto jersey.
So Carmelo has a thing on his podcast. They do like the jersey, like the trash jersey of your career, whatever. And Dwayne Wade, he said his trash jersey was like Dwayne Wade with like Cleveland Cavaliers. You like that was the worst.
Oh yeah, it was. I want to stay in sports real quick, but more so talk about you, Jeff, right?
Or
Big Jew.
Big Jew. I'm trying to remember the name.
Hold on. I'm going to break out the jewelry.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
It needs to be bigger. Next time it'll be bigger, I promise.
Okay.
Gotta make it iced out, man.
Staying in sports. So Sports Illustrated was one of your gigs that you had. And your first article I thought was so interesting. Like when you were going for the job and they asked you some ideas on it. Would you mind sharing that story?
Sure. So I went to the University of Delaware. Can any of you guys name the nickname? Delaware?
It's a bird. It's a bird.
Blue.
Anyone the blue? Blue
it's
hens,
the blue.
Delaware
The blue hen. Yeah.
Oh,
we're
terrible.
And so I was a student at the University of Delaware, and I worked for the student newspaper. And I was a runner in college, but not very good. I like a track and field guy. And I was writing for the student newspaper, and I was a junior, and I thought it would be funny, just on a lark. I'm going to apply early for the NBA draft. I'm just going to see what happens if I apply early for the NBA draft. So I wrote a letter to the NBA. Dear Commissioner Stern, my name is Jeff Pearlman. This is like 1993. So this is before you can Google anything and everything, right? Internet was there, but it wasn't that powerful. Dear Commissioner Stern, my name is Jeff Pearlman. I'm a junior forward at the University of Delaware. And this wasn't a lie because I played for Edna's Edibles, the intramural runner-up champions that year. I don't want to brag. And I was like, I'm a junior at Delaware. And as of this letter, I'm announcing my eligibility and declaring for the NBA draft. And I sent the letter. And one day I get back to my room and my roommate is like, Pearl, there's a letter from the NBA. And on the NBA letter, it's Dear Mr. Pearlman, as of this date, we are you have surrendered your eligibility, blah, 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 blah. You are entered in the NBA draft. Then I was home for winter break. I'm from a town in New York. And I get a call from the head of security from the NBA. And he's like, we got your letter, blah, blah, blah. Basically, who are you? Like, who are you? We've never heard of you. Who are you? And I'm like, well, my name's Jeff Pearlman. I'm a player at Delaware. He's like, so you play at Delaware? I'm like, yeah, I play at Delaware. I did. And there's edibles of the intramural league. And I did that. And I wrote a piece for my college newspaper about it. And then I was a writer at the Nashville Tennessean. That was my first job. It was a newspaper. My dream in life was to work for Sports Illustrated. My all-time journalism dream was SI. Oh. And I applied, and they were interested. And they said, can you pitch some story ideas? And I pitched a story about like a local swimmer. They were like, nah. I pitched a story about a guy who played for the Bulls named Charles Davis, who came from Vanderbilt. They're like, nah. I was like, I applied early for the NBA draft when I was in college. They said, write that. And that became my first story at SI, and I got hired because of that story.
Man, I thought that was a cool story, man.
Wow. Wow, man. Speaking of Sports Illustrated too, then I think you wrote a post about the I was saying about Henry Ruggs, and he said it changed your life, like that stuff. You met the gentleman, I forgot his name, Tony Rodriguez, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
At Starbucks, and you said it changed your life. Can you
so that
speak
was
to that?
yeah. So that was, I was a staff writer at Sports Illustrated covering baseball. Then I left. Then I started writing books. And do you guys remember the Henry Ruggs car accident in Las Vegas?
Oh, I do.
Yep.
Okay.
He did. I mean, the Raiders fan, he was hurt.
Of course. Also, it was just devastating. Like,
Yeah.
a woman died. Like, she was in the car. His life was changed forever. Just horrible.
Yeah.
So I pitched a story. I told SI I want to do a story. What I found really interesting, I always find this kind of interesting, is the intersecting of lives, like random lives. Like the woman, Tina Tinter, was basically a 23-year-old Target employee who happened to have her dog in the car with her. And Henry Ruggs is this wealthy Raider wide receiver who drinks too much and is driving home, and their lives intersect. And he's driving, I think it was 160 down a stretch, slams into her car, he dies. And I wanted to do a story about this intersecting of lives. And I went to Vegas just kind of to find out what I could find. And I wasn't finding anything. And I actually called my wife and said, I don't know. I'm not seeing it, because I couldn't get Ruggs, and her family didn't want to talk. And you can only push so hard because, like, they're going through the devastation of losing their daughter, Right. And my wife was like, she gave me this great pep talk. She's like, you never don't get a story. You got to find a way to get a story. So I saw some mention in an article from the time of the crash. A guy named Henry Rodriguez was witness to it. And he tried rescuing someone. And that was it. So I called all these numbers. And I somehow found this guy's sister. And he's like, oh, yeah, that was my brother. And he called me. And I told him, I'm working on this story for SI about the crash. Is there any way you'd meet? And he's like, yeah, all right. How about we meet tomorrow? We met at a Starbucks, and he walks in. And it turns out I knew nothing about him, literally nothing. He's about my age, and he was a heroin addict. Like, literally, we met, and he was doing heroin every day. And the night of the crash, he was out stealing metal. Like, they would go around and steal scrap metal from different, like, construction sites to pay for their heroin habit, right? He was a really lovely guy who just, his life had descended into this really bad place. And he told me the night of the crash, they were driving around, they see the accident because the car lit on fire. The car Tina Tinter was in just aflame. Henry Ruggs is dangling out of his car. His fiance is screaming, help, help, help. So Henry told me the story. He first goes to Henry Ruggs's car, and you can kind of see Henry Ruggs doesn't need him, but then he sees his car on fire. And he goes over to the car. He gets a jack from the back of his car, tries smashing the window, but fire is engulfing it. He reaches his hands in and feels this woman's arm literally in his hands while the car is burning. And he's trying to get her out, but she's in her seatbelt. So he's trying to pull her, and she can't get out. And the smoke overtakes him, and he gives up finally, and this woman dies. And he literally hears, like, the sound. One of the sounds that haunts him is when tires get too hot, they pop, obviously, because it's air. And he was hearing,
wow.
He said it happened. And this is a guy, again, like, his life is all trauma. His life is, he's living in a garage with a bunch of other heroin addicts, stealing metal so he can feed his heroin addiction. Like, it sucks. And he was, he drove away. They drove away, and he went into there was a hospital, and he wanted to wash his hands. So he went to the hospital. He was literally washing his hands, seeing Tina Tinter's blood come off his hands into the sink. So imagine being him. And he was this guy. He told me, like, I mean, his life, again, trauma, but he said he could not get that out of his head. Understandably, could not get out of his head. Her arm in his hands, not being able to do anything. And he actually said to me at one point, he's like, I would trade her life for mine. He's like, my life is worthless. Look what I've done to myself. I would trade her life for mine. And he really, I don't know how much you guys have dealt with people like that. People have had these struggles, but, like, it's like another reminder that, like, we always, when we were little, we're like, those are bad people and those are good people. Like, oh, he's an addict.
Yeah.
He's a crack addict. And you realize no one wants to be a heroin addict.
Right.
No one signs up to be a heroin addict. You make moves in your life that lead you in that direction. I'm not saying people lack any responsibility, but no one wants to be a heroin addict. And it doesn't make you a bad person. This guy was a great person who just was in a deep, dark hole. And he had this moment that sent him even further. And I'll tell you one thing. He called me about 40 days after the article ran, or maybe a little more. And he was super happy because it was 40 days clean. He called me.
Wow.
So happy. I've called him back several times. He's never answered again.
Wow.
So,
Jeff, hey, Jeff, well, I feel like you could do the story on the deep, dark hole of gambling in the NBA, man.
maybe.
I feel like that. I don't know. But hey, what's your thoughts on the gambling scandal, man?
I think this is what it's. Someone said this to me the other day, and I think it's really well said. It's like, I had my friend John Wertheim, who's a reporter. He and I were talking. Excuse me, we're talking about this, and it'd be like saying, we're gonna have, okay, United Airlines is the sponsor of the NBA, but none of you guys can fly United, right? United's gonna sponsor the NBA, but none of you guys are allowed to fly United. Okay, is that cool? Like, gambling has overtaken professional sports. It is overtaken. And they're all but begging fans to get into gambling. Like, they almost are begging fans to get into gambling. All they want is you and you and you and me to get addicted to gambling so we keep watching games. And I even think about this. I heard this on the New York Times as a podcast called The Daily. And this reporter was talking about how gambling is really important to the NBA because it keeps people watching boring games and it keeps the ratings up because you bet on whether Chris Paul is going to have more than 8 assists. He has 7 assists going to the fourth quarter. Maybe the Clippers are down by 20, but you're going to keep watching to see if he gets that assist.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of it that way. They just want to keep watching. So it's like all these leagues are in bed with gambling, begging people to gamble. And then, like, you catch people gambling. And I'm not saying they shouldn't, but it shouldn't be a shock. It's not shocking. So,
and I think that the biggest thing that got hard for us is when you have a walking casino in your phone.
Yep, sure do.
So it's with you everywhere. You get notifications all the time, just like social media anyway. Like it's constantly giving you updates. Hey man, make a bet here, make a bet here, make a bet here. And now it's even trickier with ESPN getting owned by the NFL.
And ESPN has their own betting service.
ESPN Bets. Yeah, ESPN Bets.
It's crazy. I'll tell you something. I live in Southern California, and maybe a year ago, maybe not even that long, I was going to the supermarket, and there was a guy with a petition out front trying to get people to sign a petition. And it said, there was a sign, support homeless veterans. Okay. And he had a petition signed to support homeless veterans. Of course, people go up, they sign. Who doesn't want to support homeless veterans, right? I never signed a petition without looking at the petition. So I took a picture of the petition, brought it home, reading it. It was sponsored, I think, by DraftKings. It was to legalize online gambling in the state of California. And like 0.00 whatever, 2% of proceeds go to homeless veterans. But that's gambling in a nutshell. It is no different than big tobacco, and it's no different than alcohol. Like, it's like these industries that are just trying to capitalize and prey on people's addiction. It grosses me out.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about the pharmaceutical industry.
100%. They're just people trying to take advantage of our own vulnerabilities, you know?
Oh, yeah. Nah. Well, man, Jeff, is America, man. We got to capitalize on everything, baby. Hey, look, hey, Jeff, hey, what we do? We capitalize on your pain. We capitalize on your fun. We capitalize on your happiness.
Your addiction.
On your sadness, your addiction. We capitalize on it all, baby.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I will say something. I'm not trying to switch over to Tupac. I could talk sports for an hour. Mm-hmm. But I was getting killed like online by this channel. I won't even say the name, that talks a lot about Tupac. You're disrespecting the legacy of Tupac. How can you disrespect the legacy of Tupac? And this particular channel literally paid Keefe D for interviews. So the guy who is accused of killing Tupac, we're paying for interviews, but I'm the one disrespecting the legacy of Tupac. You're giving money to the guy who was involved in the murder of the person you consider an icon. Right. And the other one, they also paid Tupac's father. And it's like, you're paying the absentee father of Tupac's store, which I'm not saying is as bad, but like, I just think we all justify our existences. I'm sure the guy who's working for the gambling company or the guy who works for the oil company and I know you don't talk politics, but doesn't care about climate change. Like, we all find a way to justify what we do. We just do, you know, it just is what it is. It's a weird part of humanity.
For sure. Well, since we're here now,
I didn't mean to do that.
No. This is why we're here. You know what I mean? So,
but no, look. So what made you pursue this book? Only God Can Judge Me.
I mean, I've written 10 books. They're all sports. I am a big Tupac fan and a big hip hop fan. I'm like the cliche. You guys might have one of me. You're like the white kid in the all white high school, and you have, which I was. and I had two friends. There were two kids in our grade. My best friend, John Powell, was one of the two black kids, literally two in my grade.
Mhm.
This was 1989, 90, but a little before. And he introduces me to Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos by Public Enemy.
Mm.
And I still love that song, could do every lyric, love it.
Mhm.
And then I started listening to Heavy D and the Boys, and I start listening to Big Daddy Kane, and I start listening, and like all of a sudden you're not only are you like loving the music, because the music is great, you're growing up in the sticks, like literally the sticks of rural New York, where I had a teacher, true story, my 8th grade history teacher, Mr. McGee, taught us that blacks cannot ski and blacks cannot swim. Literally in a class, to quote Mr. McGee, I worked with a lot of blacks. Blacks can't ski and quote, blacks can't swim. That was my lesson in 8th grade in Mailpack High School from Mr. McGee, with
Wow.
my best friend, who happened to be one of the two black kids in the grade, sitting next to me. That is
wow.
Yeah, that's where I come from. I love hip hop. And what I loved about hip hop, one of the things, I don't think I realized it at the time so much, but it's true. For a lot of white kids, I told this to Chuck D when I had lunch with him for this book. I was like, I know it's not one of your top 20 priorities, but you really educated a lot of white kids about not just black culture, but black resiliency, and also like what it is to be black in America. Obviously, you can't know what it is until you live it, but you can at least receive an education. And I think for a lot of white kids, this one included hearing Black Steel in the Hour cast, hearing 911 is a joke, hearing Fight the Power, on and on.
Oh,
Gave
man.
them education. Fast forward, I love hip hop. My son loves hip hop. I love hip hop. It's my favorite music. It's my all-time favorite music. And I just think Tupac, obviously he's iconic, but I feel like when someone dies young, a lot of times this mythology builds and it becomes the truth, whether it's the truth or not. And I just thought there's a really interesting book, the book where you call 600 people and you go back and you interview the classmates, and then you interview the friends, and then you go through the liner notes and you interview all the producers and the people who never were spoken to, and you just see what you can find. And I just really wanted to write that book. I know I'm a weird choice. My agent literally said to me, he goes, "You're a white sports writer." I'm like, I know, but I just think they always say, like, write the book you want to read. And I hadn't felt like anyone had written the Tupac book that I wanted to read. So I just tried.
Okay. That's good. Because you said 652 people that you had to interview.
Correct.
Like, I don't think you understand, Jake. Like I bought your book and I'm reading through it now, and the detail, like the minute details that of the stories that you get about not only Tupac but the Shakur family. Like people, like we have a Tupac biopic, right? That's out, but there should be a biopic on the whole family because they've been
certainly his mom. His mom and the Panther 21 trial should be like a 6-part documentary series.
Yeah.
100%. You don't even have to mention Tupac, except she was pregnant with Tupac, being shuttled from jail back and forth every day. 21 years old, no high school diploma, turns down the court-appointed attorney. The Black Panthers have been infiltrated, so they have all these spies, undercover spies. She's facing hundreds of years in prison for plotting, along with the Panther 21, so the other Black Panthers on trial, plotting to blow up local monuments and locations, defends herself, turns down the court-appointed attorney, and wins while being shuttled back and forth to jail, while having Tupac in the womb. Isn't it a crazy story? And I'll tell you something. You guys may disagree. I always say, like, not enough white people learn about the Black Panthers. But I've actually changed. I think not enough Americans, period, learn about the Black Panthers. Don't know anything about the Black Panthers.
Yo, which is always amazing to me. Like, Fred Hampton was not that old, man.
21. I think it was 21.
21. Nah, he might be younger than that. I think he was like 19.
He died at like 21, 22, something like that.
Yeah, but I think he started. The coalition like 18, 19. Like he was like leading, leading it.
They were kids. They were all kids. Sophie Carmichael, not that old. You know, they were not that old. They're all in their 20s. Yeah. Or teens.
And then like understanding that it just, we know about it being in Cali, but to get it over to the East Coast and just have it worldwide, like that was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, like, what happens is, I mean, I definitely can speak on this. If you grow up white in this country, especially in rural, if you even learn about the Panthers, which generally you don't, if you do, you learn the number one thing you learn is they hated white people. They hated white people and they were terrorists and blah, blah, blah. And then you start learning about them and you're like, wait a second. Free lunch programs, educational programs, a lot of white support, a lot of Latino support. Tupac was named by a white woman who was a Panther sympathizer. You know, like it wasn't what people think. And I just think it's one of those things that the miseducation and the misinformation on the Black Panthers is criminal. So I'm all in on an Afeni Shakur or Panther 21, even more than a Tupac doc. I just think a doc about her would be amazing.
Yes. Yes, it was a lot of things that I found out about Afeni and all the things that she believed in. It was almost in a sense of like looking at her and then all the things that Pac went through in his life. It was kind of like he had everything but the Panther family. Like he always wanted that backing or that, you know, someone to. And then when he got, I guess he felt like that when he got with Death Row at the end. You know what I mean? Towards the end, how he was. So I don't know. Maybe I'm. You know,
no, I think he was always looking, you know, like he had a guy, Ray Love, who he was close with, another hip hop artist in the Bay Area. And Ray called me the other day because we were talking about the book. And he's like, you know, Tupac never even had a home of his own really until he moved to Los Angeles. Like he was bouncing around New York as a kid, went to Baltimore, lived in a row house that was just dilapidated in the worst part of the city, moves to Marin, moves in briefly with Geronimo Pratt's family, very briefly, hates it. His mom, Afeni, and then his sister, Set, moved to Marin City. They live in what's called the Jungle, which is Marin. It's you know, cracked out public housing. His mom becomes a crack addict. He moves out. He's couch hopping for much of this time. His whole life was the number one thing I took away is just the profound sadness of his life. And like people were always asking him for stuff. People always expecting things of him. Never had a stable household. His hero, his absolute hero, his mom. The first person he would tell anyone about, my mom was a Panther, becomes a crack addict. So you're watching this happen in front of her, in front of you. I just think the trauma of Tupac Shakur is the driving force behind almost everything that he went through. It's a trauma. Yeah.
So how did you you interviewed all these people? Did you fund this yourself?
No. So HarperCollins, I'll even tell you, I'm very open about this.
Okay.
I get book deals, right? Because people are like, you're just making money off Tupac, which I understand. People always the perception. I got $250,000 to write this book. And before you're like, wow, that's over 3 years. So that's a 3-year. And out of that money, you are paying for all your own stuff. So every travel I went, anything I put into it. And it is not cheap to write a book. Like I went to Lumberton, North Carolina to see where his mom grew up. I went to New Orleans to visit his sister. I went to Oakland. I probably made 6 trips to Northern California from Southern California. Like I went all over this country, went to New York. It's expensive and it's hard. And I'm not looking for sympathy. Like I've had a really charmed career as a writer, but like you have to love the subject and you have to live the subject and you have to put everything you have into the subject in order to, I think, to do it well and do it right. So like, I have a nice life, but when people are like, you're just getting rich off this. I mean, take 250, divide it by 3, then take away about $30,000 to $40,000 just in expenses. That's how much I made for this book, being honest.
It's just you have fans like us that want to hear these stories. You know, we don't want to hear what we just heard on YouTube. You know, you actually talk to the family. You know what I mean? So and you're gonna get those details and stories and that stuff that we want to hear. Like it's been 30 years since his death, and then I would say 30 years since even doing this in a sense. I don't know if you can if you found this story before you did the book or after you did the book, but the Brenda's Got a Baby.
That was from the book. Yeah.
That was that was before or after?
No. That was part of the reporting process.
Part of the reporting process.
Wow.
That's man, to do a story of Tupac and then the family and then come across that in a sense. Like how was that? Like I know you told this story a million times already.
But please tell it again. Okay. Yes, please tell it again.
All right. So I have a well, first of all, the song Brenda's Got a Baby, which obviously you guys know. You know, it wasn't a huge hit actually. It's a big Tupac song, but it's not like Tupacalypse Now was kind of a dud of an album as far as sales. Like it didn't do that.
Yeah, no, it didn't do good. But when you go back and look at it and listen to it now, that's a good album, classic album, really.
Yeah,
it didn't hit like the others. Yeah,
it's not his best, but it's like for a 19-year-old Tupac. First of all, it's an interesting because it's a very smart album. Like it was it's his most socially conscious album.
Right.
The problem was in hip hop, especially as he went on, socially conscious, with rare exception, doesn't actually sell that well. You know, you have some exceptions, but not really.
Not going because it's 91, not going against NWA, you know, the Ice Cubes.
Yeah.
Correct. So, you know, Public Enemy in a way was petering out a little bit sales-wise at that point. Not, you know, they were still doing profound music. I think people were tired of it. I think people wanted, like, if you think about it back then, there was a lot of, like, to sound corny but true, Kid and Play, Young MC, House of Pain. Like, there was a lot of, like, hard good time rap instead of, anyway.
Yeah.
Tupac does the song. Tupac's filming Juice. It's 1991. And one day he reads a New York Daily News article because he was filming it in New York. He gets a newspaper every day. And he reads this article, Cries in the Night, about a 12-year-old girl in Brooklyn who was raped by a cousin, didn't tell anyone, has a baby on the bathroom floor, grabs a baby, puts it in a plastic bag, throws it down the trash chute. Guy who works for the building downstairs, it's a day the compactor is supposed to go off, or the trash is supposed to be collected, hears this baby crying, doesn't know if it's a cat or a baby, but it sounds like both, goes in, rescues a kid. There's an article in the Daily News. Tupac reads it. He says to Omar Epps, I want to go in my trailer. I'm going to go in my trailer and just write. He goes in, half hour. Brenda's got a baby. Brenda's barely got a brain. Damn shame. The girl can hardly spell it. Now, Brenda wasn't the name. It was a 12-year-old girl, so you wouldn't identify journalistically. You wouldn't identify the name of a 12-year-old girl, especially a rape victim. So, all right, I know this story, and I'm working on the book. And I happened to go to high school with a woman named Michelle Suley. And I always tell her it's very unlikely that two people from the sticks of nowhere, New York, came across the Brenda's Got a Baby story, which kind of makes me laugh. Like, we would be, if you were to take every high school in America in 1990 and say, which one of these people will be responsible for the biography, it would not be. So I said to her, it'd be amazing if we could find the baby. Is that even possible? And she's like, give me a few days. And she's an amazing people finder. And she called me a few days later, texted me, and she's like, I have a number for a guy named Davon Hodge. I think this is him. I text him. He's basically like, holy crap. He lives in Las Vegas. I live in LA area. I drive out there a couple of days later. We meet. Great guy. He's 33 years old at the time because there's that number of years since the article came out. And he tells me the story how after that happened, he was adopted by two parents who moved to Las Vegas. Somewhat recently, both his parents had passed away. He does an Ancestry.com search, spits into the tube. All these tentacles come back up to Brooklyn, to the Noble Drew Ali public housing where this happened. He reaches out to a bunch of them. They're basically like, holy crap. Do you know who you are? Do you know who we've been looking for you? We've been looking for you all these years. He flies to Brooklyn. He has this grand Antoine Fisher.
I was about to say that.
Reunion. Well, yeah, I just want to tell you something really fun. Do you guys know who Sally Richardson is?
Yeah.
All right. Sally Richardson was a director on Winning Time in some of the episodes. So I knew Sally Richardson. She dated Tupac. I was telling her the story about Brenda's Got a Baby, and I made the Antoine Fisher. I was like, it's like that movie. Have you ever seen that movie, Antoine Fisher? And she goes, yeah, Jeff. I was the wife in Antoine Fisher.
Oh,
I was like, oh my God, all my worlds are colliding. So basically, he reaches out to all these people, and they're like, yo, blah, blah, blah. He goes, visits them in Brooklyn, beautiful reunion. And they're like, are you a Tupac fan? He's like, yeah. They're like, you know, Brenda's Got a Baby. He's like, yeah. They're like, we think you're the baby. We think you're the baby. They just put two and two together, the song and the location. So he tells me the story, but he hasn't seen his mom. I mentioned this to Michelle Suley, my genealogist. Give me a few days. She gets a number. She calls this number. She's like, first she texts, like, is this Jeanette? Who is this? It's Michelle. She pretends like she knows her just to like bait her in a little. I mean, you know. Michelle who? She calls. She says, I'm working with the writer Jeff Pearlman on a Tupac book. By any chance, did you have a baby when you're 12 years old? This woman goes, do you know where my baby is? Do you know where my baby is? She starts screaming and crying. Do you know where my baby is? I've been looking for my baby for years. Do you know where he is? She's like, yeah, we found him. She starts going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I need to get home. I'm away from home, but I live in Newark, New Jersey. I need to get back to Newark. Michelle says, well, what are you doing? She's like, I'm at a concert. She goes, what concert? Red Hot Chili Peppers. Where's the concert? Las Vegas.
Wow.
They meet that night, reunite. Best recording time.
Wow, man. That's got to give you chills. That's got to give you chills.
Even the millionth time telling you it does. It's still. I had two moments from the Tupac. I had three. Can I give you my big three moments in this book?
Hey, go
Yes.
All right. Number two was I went to Lumberton, North Carolina, where Afeni Shakur was born and raised, and she moved to New York City as a young girl because her mom got her job in New York City working in a lampshade factory. So she moved to New York, but she's from Lumberton. Tupac dies in 96. Afeni Shakur, after he died, built a house in her old hometown of Lumberton, like a mansion. Not a mansion, but I don't know, 15 acres in this big house. So I went to Lumberton just doing research, and I met a cousin of Tupac's named Dante, who the house is now owned by the Shakur estate, which is basically, to be blunt, like kind of business people who look a lot like me. Like a bunch of white people run Tupac's estate. Just me. It's a little disappointing, actually, to be honest. I know it's weird to say, but it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Like it should be in the family. It's not really in
Right.
the family. Anyway, after Afeni Shakur died, her property went to the estate. So the estate owns this property. I'm in Lumberton, North Carolina, and this guy says, "Do you want to take a tour? I have to go over to the house because I take care of the house and I have to let the gas person in. Do you want to come?" I was like, "Yeah." I go to the house and he lets me in. I'm in Afeni Shakur's house and I'm walking around the house. I'm literally walking from room to room. Afeni Shakur's old house still has cartons of like books and supplies and stuff like that. And the guy says to me, "Do you want to see where Tupac's grave is?" And I go, I'm like, "I don't know what you mean," because I know his ashes he was cremated. His ashes were spread in Malibu in the Pacific. And he goes, "No, there's a grave for him here. She buried his ashes here." I go out to the yard. This is an abandoned house in Lumberton, North Carolina, middle of nowhere. There's Tupac Shakur's grave. There's a photo of it in the book. And she took some of his ashes that she saved and buried them in Lumberton. So people can literally, I would say it'd be like finding out like Marilyn Monroe is buried in Brewster, New York behind a general store. Or like Jim Morrison is buried, you know what I mean? Like, oh, there's Jim Morrison's grave. It's in the elementary school yard. You can just go visit. Super weird. So that's it. I found his grave. I'm standing above Tupac Shakur's grave in Lumberton, North Carolina. And then number 3 is Tupac had a girlfriend in high school named Mary, and everyone said, "You should talk to Mary if you can talk to Mary." This is Baltimore School for the Arts. But she doesn't talk to people. So I called her and she was reluctant. And I actually told her the Brenda story because I just reported the Brenda story. And I end up using that Brenda story a lot to show people that I was serious about this. It wasn't just a joke.
Right.
Good, And she's like, "You know what?" She goes, "I live in Nebraska. If you come out to see me in Nebraska, we can talk." And she said, "My mom was recently cleaning up her old house, and she found in a folder about 150 letters Tupac wrote me in high school. If you come out to Nebraska, I'll show you the letters." I'm like, "I will be there tomorrow." And I flew out to Nebraska. The love letter, the writing was just different level. Like, if I were writing a love letter in high school, it was like, "Dear Debbie, I really have a crush on you. You're so hot."
Right.
It was like, he called her lumberjack, and she was the white daughter of communists, and they love Tupac. Her parents love Tupac because they were communists. He was coming from Black Panther sensibilities. It really has a very commonality.
Yeah.
I loved him. And the letters were like, "My dearest Mary, when I think of your skin caressing against mine, the urges of my essence," like it was like this like different level.
Wow.
And you could see the origins of his hip hop writing in these letters to Mary Baldridge, 15 years old. So the grave, and I also found I was the first guy I think maybe ever to interview the EMT who got to Tupac after he shot himself twice.
Wow.
The first guy to ever interview the EMT. So that was a really good find for me too. So I had a lot of like finds, it was a lot of like, you just
I also seen that he was in school with Sam Cassell. They was in math class together.
Sam Cassell. All right. Everyone knows he went to Baltimore School for the Arts. Everyone knows he transferred as a senior in Marin City. Most people know that. Freshman year, he went to Dunbar High School. And Dunbar's famous back in the day. That was Muggsy Bogues, Reggie Williams, and Sam Cassell. And I saw that Sam Cassell was there at the same time because a friend of mine went to Dunbar and photographed the yearbook from the year Tupac was there and sent me all the images. Because what I like doing is calling all the people. So you reach out to everyone one by one. "Hey, do you remember Tupac? Do you remember Tupac?" I saw Sam Cassell was there. I think Cassell was coaching with the Sixers at this point. I called the Sixers PR guy and I was like, "I'm known in sports. Like I know people in sports. So I call someone in the Sixers. It's my language.
Right.
That's why I know sports. I'm like, "Hey, it's kind of random. I'm working on this Tupac book. Could you just ask Sam if maybe he remembers Tupac?" And the guy calls me back. He's like, "Sam wants to talk to you." So I get Cassell on the phone. He's like, "Nobody ever asked me about this. I'm so happy you're asking me about this." Tupac, Sam Cassell sat in front of Tupac in geometry class at Dunbar High School.
Wow.
And he actually had a memory, 2 things. He said Tupac used to give him little hype pep talks before basketball games, kind of in that early Tupac way. "Come on, Sam, you can do this." And then when Cassell was a rookie with the Houston Rockets, they were in LA playing either Lakers or Clippers. And he goes into a soul food restaurant And Tupac is in the restaurant, and he hasn't seen Tupac since Dunbar. And Tupac sees him, and he's like, "Yo, Sam, we made it, Sam, we made it." And he goes, "I'm gonna hit you up, man. I'm gonna holler at you." And Cassell's like, "All right, Pac," and he never heard from him again. So,
man.
still kind of cool that he got behind Sam in geometry in 9th grade.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
Hey, so I saw recently you debunked a myth that I heard about Tupac, man.
Uh-oh, which one was this?
That he got in a fight with Michael Jackson.
Not true.
So I do want to know this journalism. Why journalism? I heard you say this is something that you would have done no matter what. So why journalism? Why did you choose this lane in this field? What was it about it?
I love, my parents always used to joke, like I was always a kid who asked a million questions, right?
Okay.
I think like if you like asking questions, it's a great job. It's a great job. Like I love that as a journalist. Like one of my earliest stories, I was a young writer at the Nashville Tennessean. It was my first job out of college. And they told me there were these people, Lynn and Warren Thompson. They wanted me to do a story about Lynn and Warren Thompson. I was 23. I was very young. They were in their late 40s, early 50s. Lynn Thompson was dying of cancer. She was very close to the end of her life. And she was teaching her husband how to take care of their garden, right? She wanted her legacy to be the garden. So she was teaching her husband before she dies how to take care of this garden. And I was 23 years old. And they're like, we want to do this story about this. And I remember sitting with Lynn Thompson, right? She was a mom with 3 kids and a husband, and she was dying. It was, she had no chance of living. And I remember sitting with her and asking her what it was like to die. Like, what does it feel like to die?
Oh,
and she actually told me an answer that stuck with me for years. She said, I just saw Forrest Gump the other day with a friend. And there's a scene in Forrest Gump where Jenny dies. Forrest Gump's wife dies, Jenny. And during that scene, her friend was apologizing to her. I didn't realize there was a death in this movie. I'm so sorry. And after the movie, Lynn said to her friend, it wasn't the death scene that made me sad. It was the weddings and the different life events that I know I'm going to be missing in my own kids that tears my heart out. And I remember being 23, and you are allowed to ask a woman who is dying, what does it feel like to die? And that is an incredible honor. Like, it's just an honor to be able to, for Tupac, I went to Marin City and sat with crack dealers in the jungle where he grew up, sat in the front of former crack dealers. Being able to ask a former crack dealer, what is it like to be a crack dealer? What's it like to steal crack? What's it like watching all the people around you, people you love, succumb to the very drug that is making you rich? Like, what is that like? I'm like, it's just amazing. And it's amazing. It's like a gift. For me, it's like the gift that keeps on giving. And like, I just think everyone, I would say, like, it's just great listening to people. I just love listening to people. And I love hearing stories. And I love hearing what people's. I was always a kid on the elevator who'd ask like the guy, what's the grossest thing you ever smelled? Who's the weirdest person you ever met? Flight attendants. I can't. I love talking to flight attendants. What's your worst customer? What's your best customer? Do you hate flying now? What's it like? Blah, blah, blah. Since COVID, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just a gift. So that is, for me, has always been why I became a journalist, is because I love asking questions. Truly.
Hey, so Jeff, man, we have a thing called the victory lap, right?
Okay.
So the victory lap is where you give the people a gym, just something to live by, or just some motivation. One thing that stuck out to me, and I noticed you had a thing called make the extra call. To get that extra detail, find the extra to make the extra call. So what's a victory lap or some motivation you get to the people before we get out of here, man?
Man, I would say this. Okay. Promoting a Tupac book has been hard. It's been really hard, right? It's just been hard. And I understand it. There are a lot of people who are skeptical of a guy. I mean, I get it. I 100% get it and even can appreciate it. Why is this guy writing a book about Tupac, right? Doesn't make sense. And the people who have treated me the best that have helped me promote this book are people in sports TV, people from Rich Eisen and Jim Rome and Colin Coward. And it is honestly for me, and they have no reason. I was on the NFL Network talking about Tupac. It doesn't even make sense, right? It is a reminder to me, you should always treat people well, not just because it's the right thing to do, because people remember when you treat them well. When you're decent to people and when you're kind to people. And like through the years in sports, I've really worked hard after initially being just a jackass and arrogant and cocky and like throwing elbows. This is my turf. Like, what I realized is like it really is true. The rising tide lifts all boats. And like, if you're nice to people, they will remember your kindness. And for this book, just as an example, I've needed the kindness of people who have known me for a while. So I just never think you can go wrong just being nice and decent and real with people. I just think you can't go wrong with it. And I've really tried to live my life that way. And I could see where people remember it. And I always, I remember that,
Thank you, man.
Man,
Appreciate it, man.
Hey, everybody, please get the book, man. Only God Can Judge Me, man, by Jeff Pearlman, man. Hey, Jeff.
Big Jew. You mean Big Jew?
Oh, hey,
Big Jew.
Hey,
AKA Big Jew.
Hey, matter of fact, look up for the album, man.
It's called Circumcised, Volume 1.
Hey, man, I really, really appreciate you, man.
It was my pleasure. Thank you guys so much.
Man, appreciate
Thank you so much.
All
we appreciate you so much.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you guys.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, man.
Oh, man, that was dope. That was dope.
Man.
We could have talked to him for hours, dog. Like, it was so much. Man, because it's sports.
I like to have him back. For sure.
For sure. We
definitely gotta link him and Chill together, man, because I really wanted to make that connection. But
definitely, man.
Yeah.
Man, great job, guys. Great job.
Hey,
man.
Dog, shout out to Jeff Pearlman for coming through, man. Clap it up, fellas.
Man.
Woo!
Big Jew.
AKA Big Jew, man. Fellas, that was good. Hey, I'm proud to have, man. That was wow.
That was pretty dope, man.
Yes, can you tell people where they can find us at, man?
Hey, man, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Check us out. Our Pit Stop. I'm sorry, our channel is at the Pit Stop Podcast. Make sure y'all like. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and content. The only words I describe is what's on my head. GOAT, man, the greatest of all time, man. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, for real, I gotta give it to you. I gotta give it to you, Ego. Shout out to the GOAT. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put this out there, man. My man, Kenny K. Ego. You know what I'm saying? Kenny the Heartbreak Kid, man. He was the one that
he set it
reached
up, man.
out, man. He set the play up, man. So thank you, Kenny, for doing the due diligence and getting the Mr. Big Jew. You know what I'm saying on the show today, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
You know
You know, if y'all need me to tap in more to my celebrity channels, let me know. I got it.
Yeah, man. We got the biggest YouTube in the DMV, baby.
Hey, ain't no DMV YouTube if it ain't no The Pit Stop Podcast.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, for sure. With that said,
the Heartbreak Kid.
Hey, man, it's the Pit Stop Podcast. We out, man. Appreciate y'all.
Man.